Canada.
A man in 10th position in the championship at the moment, Terry Waihoon, in a leased motor car tonight. On the third row of the grid, Richard Howe, and alongside him, the man who leads the championship and is locked into winning.
Matthew White, opposition number 9, Nigel Bensall, and from Queensland, Lloyd McDonald sits in position number 10. Off 11 is Robert Burns, and off 12.
Third in the championship, then Lee Watkins, Dean Wanless, another one of the young.
Rodney Jane, Hector Gutierrez, Mark Seaton, Keith Eva in position number 10. He's an interesting guy, a fellow who's been very determined to get there.
Ready for a start now in the Goodyear Auscar 200 at the Calder Park Thunderdome. Green flag waves. Stephen Richards on the inside. John Faulkner on the outside. Stephen Richards wins the start. Faulkner drops in behind him. Then comes Nathan Priti in the Caterpillar Commodore.
Just leaving out the second turn. Have a look at this. Faulkner trying to go with him, and they go into turn number 3. And have a look further back in the field. We've got a lot of contenders looking for points here today with only 3 rounds remaining.
Faulkner absolutely delighted with the work of his car after the rotten Adelaide International Raceway meeting he had. Finally, he pegged all the problems he had at Adelaide down to bad fuel. In fact, he reckons he had dirty fuel in his churns, and that's what caused him to be misfiring throughout the night. But look at him perform now. Look also at Nathan Priti right behind him.
Very good exit coming off the turn there from Faulkner too, but Richards showing some power. I think his times are very good as well, so early in the race. But
speaking to him today after qualifying, he said he believed they may have overcome their tyre problem.
Well, they have been. Oh, and here's Faulkner going for a pass down the front straight.
Riding there,
pulled out, and he's gone. Yes, right past.
But look at Faulkner go straight through. Still in third position. In fourth is Terry Waihoon. In fifth is Marshall J. Brewer. In sixth is Grant Monday.
Gee, this is a cracker.
I think as they straighten side by side.
Side by side, the two young men of Auscar Racing. Priti 21 years of age. Look at Waihoon come through as well. So Terry Waihoon in the 25 to his car.
Tyres. Historically, the Falcons have used tyres up much faster than the Commodores around here, and I think he may be just sort of trying to pace his car, pace his race.
This race meeting is unique in as much as all the qualifying, all the practice and all the racing is happening in one day. Normally the cars have been given 1 or 2 days before to practice. To be able to overcome that handicap, you had to hire the circuit privately. Stephen Richards spent last weekend out here working on a tyre wear because he was really concerned about the tyre wear of his motor car. He says now he's got it fixed.
Well, he's dropped through back to 7th, so he's either got a problem or he's running from team orders and just running at a pace.
Nathan Priti now on John Faulkner, down the inside, bringing Waihoon with him. Waihoon goes to the inside of Priti.
All right, have a look at Marshall Brewer. He's joining the equation, almost 4 wide in the turn 1.
Brewer in the 02 car, Priti on the outside in the Caterpillar car.
Grant Monday pushed through too on the bottom line there. He's up into 4th.
Oh, gee, there's a bit of brave stuff
back
out
to
there.
5th. Doesn't take long.
Faulkner won't give it away either. Look at him on the outside there in the better car.
Up as it comes. Auscar Racing here at Calder Park Thunderdome. Getting out very wide is Waihoon, looking for every part of the track to try and run down Priti, who's leading this bunch, leading this race at this early stage.
And Nathan Priti celebrating because this is the first time ever that he's led an Auscar race.
Yes, and a guy who hasn't had the greatest of luck this season. Let's hope it all holds together for him today. Nice speed shot. I'm still saying this pace is a cracker.
There's Stephen Richards dropping back through the field now, 7th position. 7th position now.
Slowly coming through. Now it's Monday on the inside. Waihoon on the outside. Monday.
packs really stacking up at the front. This is pretty unusual. Normally you see the front 5 or 6 break away, but the second part of the pack is really putting it to the lead. We've got a lead pack of about 20 cars.
7 laps down, 93 remaining. Tyre wear maybe, Alan, maybe some concerns because there's so much heat in the track at the moment.
Well, I've never seen a lead pack of 17 cars. I just did a quick count, and really you could say that there's 17 in the lead pack. I think it's got to be that, John. I think it's a lot hotter out there than it looks. The chill night air hasn't started to come down yet, if it is going to come down this evening, and I think that they're really starting to...
Cars going in every little which way at the moment, one at great speed.
No yellows out, however.
And it's Mark Seaton in the 23 car.
Carrying the minicam, of course.
Ooh. So returning, I dare say, with some very, very flat-spotted tyres.
We've got the luck of the minicam stands, of course. They'll put a minicam in the car. And
here we are, the inside picture. Yeah, the inside. Oh, does it?
Oh, and the deep modelers.
Yeah.
The 21 car.
That was separate. That was at the other end of the circuit.
And also see in trouble Lloyd McDonald. That car looked magic when it first came out tonight.
Yeah, that's the new Speedseeker paint car with classic cars up where I come from, up in the Gold Coast, Ian. But it doesn't look as immaculate now.
So Grant Monday's in the lead. Behind him is Terry Wyhern. Then comes John Faulkner. Then comes Marshall Brewer. You can see them all right there in your picture. Bruce Williams also moving up into it now, and in fact taking over third position. And Brewer's now on the charge. Here he comes on the inside. Oh, rather, Williams is on the charge. Here he comes on the inside.
Shot from the inside of Seaton's car. Everything looks to be going quite okay there. On the way out of the corner, going for a run down the inside. Tries to pull the car down and just the tail steps out. He really was closing on the car in front, and he was looking for a run down the inside. And here we are on the...
Oh, very menacing, that wall.
And
well,
sort of accelerating on the grass. You can really feel the momentum picking up again, can't you?
You can really feel the tail sliding around.
Second incident that was up on the 3-4 turn.
Well, I just put a little bit of opposite lock on the microphone, I can tell you.
So we're riding with Mark Seaton again. He's a fair way down the pack at this particular stage. 23rd, in fact, as you can see.
Just reporting again that the two cars involved in the 3-4 turn incident, which was Lloyd McDonald, car 30 from Queensland, also from Queensland, Todd Wanless, both those cars, McDonald in the pits, and at this stage Wanless behind the wall receiving service, and hopefully I guess they will be both back on the circuit before the end of the race.
So the racing up the front getting really fast now, as you can see the dice on there for what is second position. Bruce Williams has already gone through in the lead, so Williams has taken over the lead. It's Grant Monday. There's Monday with Faulkner now in front of him. So what you've got is Bruce.
But he said he's going back out there. Wasn't too perturbed about it, but still, it's ruined any chance he had of a win.
It certainly gave the pit mechanics an opportunity to vent their spleen, didn't it? Car.
Marshall Brewer down the inside, coming up into second.
Faulkner leaping all over the back of him, looking for a way through, and he's going for it on turn 3. Here he goes. Bit of a look down the inside. Brewer's 2 kg and 2 experience for that. Just takes back enough to him. Richards down the inside and takes over from Terry Wyhern. Wyhern, in fact, in the leased motor car. He's leased that car from Stephen Harrington, his own car, just not working for him. So he's taken over a rolling chassis, put his own engine into it, and out he goes tonight to see whether he can do any better with this vehicle.
Isn't it interesting, just over that period of a few months, that he's gone to that newer motor car and just had absolutely no success with it after his great effort coming second in the championship last year.
Well, you expected a lot from Terry Wyhern this year. Certainly Terry himself expected a lot. And he was a very disappointed man at Adelaide. Probably the most disillusioned I've seen of the Auscar drivers, who all usually seem to have this ebullient spirit. They always seem to be able to keep up. But Terry was really, really upset. However, there's a smile back on him being lapped right now. So there goes Bruce Williams. Now,
It's starting to drop quite dramatically.
Yes, and he's going to be straight back in again. That car's looking in big trouble at the moment.
Meantime, out on the track, Bruce Williams and Stephen Richards are really getting together. Stephen Richards closing it up on Williams. You can see
the power of the Ford up the back straight. Boy, that was easy. He just pulled out and drove by.
And there's your new race leader, Stephen Richards.
Already opening up car and a half length to make that 2 as he goes into turn number 1. So this will be interesting.
Won the Oran Park round of the Auscar racing this year.
Was a medal race.
Yeah.
To the event today, unfortunately for him.
Watch this lap traffic now as the 2 leaders start to thread their way through it.
And
Most of them getting right down and out of the way, which is really good.
I'm sure you noticed John Richards' car in the middle of that last corner when he needed to pull it back down to the bottom again because of the lap car. The tail stepped out and got a little loose. But that's not a sign of what's going to happen. Try down the inside. It's so difficult to pick the right gap at the right time.
Williams there ready to capitalise on any mistake that Richards might make. Richards trying to thread the needle between the 2 of them, does so.
Williams follows him through. It's always easier to be in the second car in situations like that because the leader opens the door for you and you can just follow him through into the hallway.
And so on lap 34, it's Stephen Richards leads through
His team said, no, doing a top job.
Well, they're doing it largely with the sun alongside him. And Richards doesn't have an answer to that.
Discretion the better part of valor.
Well, it was a pretty determined pass.
And it's a pretty determined move away. Look at that. Not only did he come through, but he also opened 1 or 2 car lengths on him.
It'll be interesting to see how quick this lap is because he had a good slip going down the front straight. There should be quite a...
Williams looks like he's got him covered, but boy, oh boy, Richards is moving up now.
Oh, yes.
And takes back the lead.
Yes, into the front. And the lap times are just starting to slip away. Look at this side by side.
Oh,
Have a look at Williams.
Won't give it away. Richards wants to take it. Richards had the opportunity there to back off, but no way he was going to do it.
Yeah, that's smooth.
Yeah, that's good hard racing. The lap times are just starting to slip away. They're just getting into the low 32s, and there's no question that that's indicative that the tyres are really starting to take a pounding, and they're just losing that edge, just those few tenths a lap. And it also makes them harder to drive. It makes them less accurate. They tend to move around more.
Here he comes now, pulling out alongside. Williams back in the lead. Richards right behind him. In the pits is Gerald McDonald.
John,
Or back in the field, uncharacteristically back in the field in 19th position. The leaders have left back to 19.
Look how quick these coming up to. Here's Williams.
Seaton will stay low and let Williams go around the outside of him, and he'll follow him. Richards will follow him through. That's the right thing for Seaton to do.
So that's the leaders lapping about half the field now.
Yes.
And that's indicative of just what pace they're really cracking on. And it must be stressed how hard the pace is here tonight in these hot conditions. And as you can see here, driving straight into the sun going into turn 1.
I think the conditions are emphasised as we see the light and shade of the pictures coming out of Mark Seaton's car. Right at the moment, the sun is heading fast towards the horizon, but probably with the big signs on the turns of Thunderdome, it wouldn't be so bad.
It is a difficult time, but it's the old story. It's the same as if you're driving at night, Ian. If there's headlights coming towards you, don't look at them. And the same thing as you're turning in right here.
It just gives them a shot, doesn't it?
Yeah, where you're about to get that flash from the sun, you make certain you look down the inside of the track.
The wall, unfortunately.
Well, there's a shot of Marshall Brewer, who's just got past Faulkner coming up behind Seaton now. That's Brewer on the left in the white car and Faulkner in the yellow behind him. As they close on his 2 turns 1 and 2. They'll have a run out of him out of the corner. Seaton will stay low. They'll both push past up the back straight.
With this transition from day to night, I should say, we're going to see no real difference here because the
point of safety.
These guys will be calling on every bit of practice. Fresh rubber on the outside. And the Auscar wheels, number 7 car up through the gearbox in the pits. Oh, we're blowing just a tad of smoke, might be just clearing itself.
Just progressively gets a little slower, or whether you bring it in, put green rubber on that you know is going to be faster, but you're going to lose a lap doing it.
Well, here's your first decision. It's Terry Wyhern into the pits. car 25 in 7th position.
And of course, while these cars remain out there, John, they've also taken the punt that they might spin, trying to hang out there with this rubber that's more than second hand.
Yes.
I'm getting to the point
Yes.
about a caution coming down. That's why, gee, I wouldn't like to be calling it, let me tell you.
Yeah. But there are 6 cars that are all close enough to the lead to be well and truly in contention, and the 6 crew chiefs chewing fingernails, I can tell you that.
Waihoon's car, rattle gun, Jack goes down, gear grabbed, he's out of the pits.
27 seconds he spent actually parked in the pit lane itself.
So he's lost
He's spitting chips, wouldn't he?
absolutely.
Caution on the
Yeah.
racetrack. So, the pits are, I'm just waiting to see them.
Yep, you're going to stop. Another car come in on a red flag. The crews aren't calling them very well.
So the pit lane still wasn't open at that point. The red flag is still telling the drivers that the pit lane is closed.
And Fiona McDonald is the one that came in first. The 13 car has continued on back out into the racing arena, which is John Kennedy. In fact, he's being held until the field goes by. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a penalty for Fiona McDonald. We go down to Gerald McDonald in the pits.
Ian, of course, Terry Waihoon and Rodney Jane took a gamble at around lap number 60. Here's the reason why. Quite obviously, the Goodyear Eagle is a great tyre, but 60 hard laps, and it doesn't take long for the thing to start shredding away. Maybe it might have worked for both Rodney Jane and also Terry Waihoon. That gambler coming in, maybe not. We'll see soon.
Looks like they were running too much camber on that tyre too. It wasn't worn evenly across. It was all worn around the inside, so maybe it was car setup that forced them in.
Okay.
Well, Fiona McDonald came in under the Williams. Right behind him is Stephen Richards. These are the men lying first and second in the motor race. Let's see who gets into the pits first and out of them first. Okay, the first one to his pits is Bruce Williams. Jacks are up on that car already. Right in front of him, maybe 20 metres in front of Stephen Richards. Now, Richards, of course, will get the better run out of the pits, but it took him an extra few seconds to get in, so it'll be interesting to see which one of these gets underway first. Look at the orderly fashion of the Richards pit crew. Look at that. Just a spectacular pit stop.
And Richard Howe's crew.
There goes Williams right behind.
That was a very good stop.
Yeah, well, certainly in around about 22 seconds as I got it.
Yeah, but just so orderly, so calm, no fuss, no bother. Richards' team gets him underway.
And interestingly enough, I noticed Rodney Jane in there. They've taken on a full set of rubber now, putting right rubber on the car.
Mark Seaton car in the pits. And it taking more than rubber, as you can see, as water's being poured all over the front of the car. Keep the thing cool while something more extraordinary happens in the engine department. Let's see.
Now, I've just seen the 13 car come through pit lane as Gary Rogers, not to be mistaken with Richards, comes back in for service in the second of the Valvoline cars. I've seen the 13 car of John Kennedy come back in. As I've seen Richard Howe been made to come around to his pits one more time for a stop and go. Well, I guess it was a stop and go. And he's resumed the race. Fiona McDonald, however, has not at this stage been called to the pits, so I'm not sure what the story is there.
Yeah.
There goes Gary Rogers.
Lights are out.
One lap remains to get the racing underway. Pulls off. There are 68 laps down and 32
Green flag.
remaining. Green flag waves. On the outside is Stephen Richards. Behind him is Bruce Williams. That's the race for the lead. Now on the inside is Terry Waihoon trying to unlap himself and racing for it.
Williams tried to go with Waihoon there and was shut down quite quickly by Richards.
Well, Terry would be absolutely desperate, calling that pit stop and now having to make back a lap with such hot company right behind him.
Not a great night for Terry. But there are the race leaders. Stephen Richards, fresh rubber, green rubber. Behind him comes Bruce Williams, 30 laps remaining. Third place is John Faulkner. Fourth is Marshall Brewer. Fifth is Grant Munro. Nathan Priti in third place. Fourth is John Faulkner.
Faulkner's had a horrible week. Lost one engine in the Auscar, one in the NASCAR.
There's Williams and Richard side by side again all the way through, and Williams has taken it. Jumped underneath him.
Gee, there's nothing in that.
Good, clean racing, isn't it? I mean, they've been at it for most of the race. Not a touch between them.
No, it's been very good. If there's been a touch, they're purely parallel side-on touches as they drift out of the corners. Good and clean, hard racing.
Wyand desperately trying to bolt, more desperately probably hoping for a
Here is a 30.7, so you're only talking about 0.7 of a second off the outright lap record.
Yes, with pole position today was only a 31.1 in the heat of the day.
Faulkner now also starting to move a little closer to the leaders.
And bringing Nathan Priti with him.
Yes.
Marshall Brewer's within touch of the race, but back quite a bit on the track at the moment. I have to wonder if he's got some sort of a game plan up his sleeve. As we see Matthew White in car number 28.
Freighter Australia car. That was the ex-Brad Jones car from last year's series. Matthew's been struggling to get it up to pace this year, but and doing it on a very, very limited budget. But he's one of the young chargers in the field. He's a man we're going to see a lot more of in the future Auscar racing.
Leaders again.
Race for the lead.
And notice how close Faulkner is now.
So he's been turning the wick up the last few laps. And don't count Priti out the equation. I'll get it right in a minute. Out the equation. He's sitting there as well. On Monday's not too far back either.
But look at Faulkner on the charge. This is a guy who just wants to make his mark. He has had a rotten year. Had his big crash with Stephen Richards at Oran Park.
Richards goes straight down the inside. Williams crossed him 2 or 3 times in the straight then. Richards got a good run off the corner, and going up that front straight before the actual pass happened, Williams went from the inside to the outside, to the inside to the outside. And let me say that Richards just...
Within, what, 30 car lengths, 40 car lengths, has got a chance?
No, 20.
Okay.
But then, you know, this is the interesting part of a 100-lap races like this. We've seen what happens to some cars with 50 laps. At the setup is
The momentary advantage on Williams. Tries to get through. Williams sees him coming, cuts him off.
So in front of them too, as the picture depicts, there is a lot of lap traffic.
And Richards got a good run past those. But Faulkner is certainly... he's got,
here we go.
Williams is sideways.
He's hung
Got
onto
it
it.
held, overcorrected, got it held again. Cars
yes,
behind him,
yes.
hit him. Whoa,
Pulled it out.
well done, Bruce Williams.
Pull it out.
That's a pulse rate that just went to 200 beats per minute.
Oh,
Didn't Faulkner do a good job getting around the outside of him? Up high, he went right up near the rubbish, but pulled his car back down as well.
so the equation now changes. Richards, Faulkner, Priti, Brewer, then Williams back to position 5 from White, Burns, Howe, Rogers and Mick Webb now slipping into the top 10. Here's a replay.
Oh, I think it's all his own. I don't think there was a tap there. If there wasn't. But he's done a very good job to pick that up.
Oh, yeah. Top marks. Have a look at that.
When they flick back the wrong way, it's normally all over. But he's done a very good job to pick that up. Well done.
That's a balancing act, isn't it? Have a look at him here.
He's got a tyre down, I'd say.
Yeah.
He's onto the low line and off the second turn, heading towards the pits. This is going to be a slow boat to China, I'll tell you.
What a shame.
Look at this. Now, what is that?
It's
These flat
it's
side down.
exhaust pipe or something similar, I would think.
Yeah, she's a bit sad down the left-hand side too. So some very quick service. We'll keep an eye on that one.
Looks like a sway bar off the rear.
Okay. Well, maybe that's let go.
Maybe it was. Maybe that's why the tail stepped out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they've decided that that's it. Nothing's going to happen. The belt's come off. So for Bruce Williams, it's all over. And what a great shame, because that Richards in the lead. Behind him now comes John Faulkner, and Faulkner starting to reel him in. Look at this. Here comes Faulkner. Look at this, so fast.
He's got to have a problem. He must have a problem.
Well, there was 2.5 seconds 1 lap ago. Now these...
I drove the car flat out, and unfortunately there was a bit of biffo with some lap cars, Might be a bit of payback, I'm not sure, but there was a little bit of contact and the car got loose and I hit the wall. But I had it saved for a long time. It took a long time before it hit the wall.
Bruce Williams.
Now he's that's Marshall Brewer going past him, Grant Munday, and also Priti's already been passed. You see Munday slide up to kiss the wall on the way out. You can't try any harder.
Have a look at Faulkner in the meantime, though, back in the lead. That trail of smoke. That trail of smoke.
Yeah, there's definitely smoke out the back.
So, you know, they would be concerned.
And same from Grant Munday. The smoke coming from him as well.
So have a look at this. It's increasing as he comes off the turn. Alan, what do you call it?
Yes, there's no question. It's and Monday's got exactly the same hassle. In fact, tad more.
A little more, yeah.
Could be the left rear tyre.
Oh, have a look at it there.
On Monday. But really, that's engine smoke on Faulkner's car.
Getting intense as he come.
8 laps to go.
And we've got caution. We have caution. And I'm just looking. Richard's
in the pits.
No, actually continuing on.
Can't understand. Oh, that's good call.
Is off, as you can see.
That's a good
pace car wanting to pick up the race leader, and not
Stephen Richards charges down pit lane through our shot now.
So just a little harder on them.
And there'll be 3 racing laps when the pace car pulls in this time round. Stephen Richards doing his very best to get warmth in those tyres as quickly as possible.
I think the officials have justified to a degree the parity again, because although Richards has shown enough speed to win the race, the extra tyre wear has stopped him from doing that. But I think it's pretty apparent that the parity is better than it was.
Pace car pulls off. John Faulkner on the outside. Behind him is Nathan Priti, then Marshall Brewer, Grant Munday.
And look at Priti with take the jump on the outside. I wonder if they'll call him back for that. Boy, he got out of there.
That was sensational, wasn't it, from Nathan Priti, the 21-year-old?
Gee, dash for the cash now.
John Faulkner now in second position. Marshall J. Brewer moves up into third.
Very rare to see somebody come off the second row and jump the leader like that. That was amazing, man.
What's the rule book say?
As long as he does it on the outside.
Faulkner goes down the inside. It's all over anyway because Faulkner's taken back the lead. But look how high he goes. So high, he's lost it.
Up in the rubbish, yeah, and a couple of others will get him coming off the corner. Brewer and Munday have both got him.
Oh, Brewer needing the points. He wants to go on with it. Have a look at this. Priti in the lead. Brewer running second. Monday's up there. Faulkner with that smoking Joe in 4th spot. And that's getting worse, the smoke, but it's not worrying him. And, of course, the first of the Valvoline cars in the action as well.
Priti now in the lead.
Wonder if there was a clue that Faulkner couldn't get off the mark as quick as possible.
Well.
And Priti sideways off the turn. Brewer closes on him.
White flag, 1 to go, but a black flag comes out as well. We're told it's for John Faulkner. I can't believe why, but we're told John
Brewer's
Faulkner
down the
gets
inside and takes the lead on the last lap. It's Marshall Brewer.
Oh, Brewer off the second turn, back straight. It's got half a lap of Calder Park Thunderdome to go, and Marshall Brewer in 0-2. He's up into turn number 3.
Marshall Brewer leads the championship. This is the championship he so desperately wants to win. He's on 660 points. He's 16 points ahead of the nearest driver, Grant Munday, who's right behind him. There's the checkered flag, and he does it. Marshall J. Brewer wins round 5 of the Goodyear Auscar 200 at Calder Park Thunderdome from Nathan Priti with Grant Munday in 3rd position. Then comes John Faulkner, but he finished under a black flag.
So we've got all sorts of drama unfolding. It's all happening. I think this is only Marshall Brewer's.
Once more. Okay, out in front is Marshall Brewer. Right behind him is Nathan Priti. Behind him is Grant Munday. They're coming up to the finish line. John Faulkner there, you can see smoking. Nothing he can do. Brewer just sprints away with it. Didn't lead the race for 99.5 laps. Came through and took the victory. Alan Grice, what a race.
What a great effort. They say to finish first, you have to finish. Marshall led for a lap, the last one.
And that's the only one you need to do. The Fast Track Racing School proprietor doing it well. Gee, he would be beside himself at the moment because this is the year he's been, I suppose, in one sense, John Smales, the quiet achiever.
Oh, certainly he has. And take Nathan Priti as well. This is the 2nd race in succession now in which he's finished 2nd. Not bad for a young bloke still learning the craft, is it?
That's good.
Yeah, good on him.
There's Nathan there.
Oh.
Go Marshall.
Yes, and one for the crowd. Have a look at his crew. There's Carl Parsons' first out there, his wife Alison. And a happy scene here at Calder Park Thunderdome.
So as the car now runs down to receive the accolades. Now Nathan Priti, Grant Monday, John Faulkner with Stephen Richards in 5th position after leading for most of the race. Robbie Burns in 6th position from young Matthew White in 7th. Gary Rogers, Stephen Richards